Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. My name's Fred Weaver. I'm joined by my partner, Kevin Kaufman, over here to my right.
That was weird.
And,
Brian was trying to make me his partner.
Brian Gubernick with Home Helper Consultants in Scottsdale, Arizona.
That's
and you're
awkward.
watching, yeah, that's awkward when the knees touch. It's
Knees,
just
I can't
weird.
touch.
You're watching ShortSalePowerHour.com. So, hey, we're going to jump right into it. Today, we're going to talk around Bank of America. And for those of you that aren't local in the Phoenix area, we're all here in the Phoenix area, Mr. Matt Vernon, who I'm going to not have his title 100% correct, but Mr. Matt Vernon, who is at some level the big cheese at Bank of America, oversees all of short sales and foreclosures, among other responsibilities. He was actually in Scottsdale last week, and he was talking around two agents, actually, like 1,000+ agents showed up, and he was answering questions and talking around some of the stuff that's going on at Bank of America.
And I was busy in the trenches, but I know Gubernick had a chance to get out of his office, because he normally does. He doesn't spend a lot of time there.
Never.
And go spend some time with Mr. Vernon.
Nice job.
So
I appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. It's my show, my job. So why don't you share with us what you learned?
I learned get to any sort of B of A presentation, especially when Matt Vernon's there, at least 45 minutes early if you want a seat. Over 1,000 agents in Scottsdale and Phoenix area showed up. So obviously you can imagine quite a demand for the seats. So we got there, front row, wanted to hear what this guy had to say. Also wanted to wave to him and tell him I need some help on some of my short sales.
Of course.
What we learned a lot actually. I think for me, I learned most that Matt Vernon's not a bad guy.
No, I don't think he is at all.
You know, I think he's a pretty solid guy, and he was very, very candid. And I think all the agents there really appreciated that.
Could we say that he's actually in tune with what's going on, and he's very okay talking around where Bank of America's good and where they just plain need?
You know, not so much where they were good. He was great about talking about where they were bad.
Okay, well, I admire that even more.
That's what I liked most. I mean, Vernon got up on stage and said, "Here's what we've done wrong." You know, he didn't get up there and give us that front page. Right. Let's say we helped 18,000 homeowners, which is a joke.
So unlike Mr. Ferris at Aquin, Mr. Vernon actually brings the truth?
I would imagine first of all, Ferris would never show up on stage. Let's just leave it at that.
Of course.
Okay.
Not with what he's
He'd only go in front of Congress and BS. He wouldn't go in front of the public and do that same thing.
Of course.
So you learned a few things. One of them is that there's about 1,500 people right now, correct, that are dedicated to short sales at BMA?
Matt said he's got 1,500 people working short sales. He says it's their intent to bring that number to 3,000. He feels with 3,000 they could achieve some of their goals, the main goals being reducing time. He said we recognize response time. We recognize it's at 90. We need to bring it to a consistent 60. He pointed out that they have processed some files in Equator in 12 to 15 days. I think you guys have had that experience.
We've had it around 40 days, 40 to 50
but on
days.
average, we've seen 40, 50, 60, pretty solid. He went into it a little bit deeper and explained many times they're not delegated on things. So though Bank of America may have some great processes in place, they're restricted by the investor.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. For me, though, personally, to get really into it, I thought the greatest part of the whole presentation was around deficiency.
Yeah, and that's actually what I want to talk to you about, is because there's a lot of, I'll just call it gray area, especially in the state of Arizona. And what I've learned by traveling around the country and teaching in other states, it's gray in other states too, even where it seems defined. And so let's get his take on deficiency, what he had to say about the state of Arizona specifically, and Bank of America's stance on deficiency.
Really, yeah, Vernon, he really did take the Arizona approach. I mean, he was speaking specifically.
So we'll talk to Arizona right now.
Let's do that.
So, as many of you know, or hopefully know, Bank of America approval letters typically will say we reserve the right to pursue on deficiency balance unless prohibited by law. And the big question is, are they or are they not prohibited by law? Vernon basically went into it and said, we feel that if we as Bank of America were to go after homeowners in purchase money, primary residence, loans that would have basically no recourse after foreclosure. We feel that if we went after them on a short sale and went to court, we would lose. Therefore, he has said that in the coming weeks, months, it's Bank of America's approach, or it's going to be their position, that they will be waiving deficiency rights on short sales. However, he qualified that statement.
Yeah, and here's the key part that I think not everybody's going to understand. Most people stop listening at, we're going to waive deficiency rights, but here's the key part where everybody else misses, and a few of us really tuned in and go, okay.
Yeah, what he basically said was, we're going to waive deficiency rights. However, we are restricted to a certain degree by our investor and the policies and their position on deficiency. He said, we as Bank of America are going to voice our opinion. We're going to tell them we believe that you should waive deficiency rights. However, if that investor says, no, we want to still keep it gray, we still want to hide our position, we still want to leave it open-ended, then Matt Vernon and Bank of America, at least appears to me,
their hands are tied.
Their hands are tied and they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, there was a letter that's been going around, Bank of America approval letter that flat out waives deficiency rights. It was the first time I had seen this letter. It's great. However, it's very, very important to mention this letter was specific to a Fannie Mae loan. So Fannie Mae's position
and
may
it was
be
a purchase money.
Purchase money. It was everything we talked about.
Yeah, it was like the
but it was
sweet spot.
Fannie Mae, which is going to be, call it 25-30%.
Sure.
You know, you couple them with Freddie, they're about 50%. I would expect Freddie to take the same position. But you still have the Bank of New York, the Deutsche Bank, the other guys out there. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
And so Vernon
And
kind
what
of
about-
left it at that, and there's different opinions there. I mean,
Imagine those smaller, they're not small players by any means, but in that world, the small player, they call them black label investors, where they literally don't even know the investor. Imagine the position those guys are going to take, because they're actually behind two different smoke screens. Like they can
Matt
totally
Vernon
stand
actually
in the
said that
background.
Bank of America has 1,200 investors. Now, I know we don't deal with 1,200 investors.
Wow.
There's probably some portfolios literally of 1,000 loans, 2,000 loans.
Sure.
I don't know what they have going on their end. 1,200 investors. So you imagine you have 1,200 investors. It's a good chance you have 1,200 different opinions on this matter.
Exactly.
So it seems like Bank of America is being proactive. They're trying to waive deficiency rights again, where there would be no deficiency rights through foreclosure. That's the important piece. However, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. And if investors follow B of A's take, B of A's lead.
I mean, if we could just summarize this whole video by saying it's important you understand what the foreclosure laws are. It's important you get that Bank of America is going to want to or try to follow what the foreclosure laws are. But if there's ambiguity in your foreclosure laws, then B of A is going to be a little ambiguous, if you will, in their approval letters, meaning they're going to leave them the right to see what the law does down the road.
I would encourage, if you don't mind me jumping in, just real quick, I'm encouraging agents that are working short sales, especially those experienced agents. We've seen a letter that waives deficiency rights. So I encourage you to ask or push for that.
Absolutely.
The more we unite and push for it, hopefully the better off. However, if you don't have experience in pushing and escalating, you know what I've said before, get out of short sales and work with somebody else, because we need to start pushing these things. We really do, and we need to unite on that.
Last statement I want to make is this. Kevin and I have been saying this for a while, but it's important that homeowners, if you're out there watching this video, that you understand that Bank of America is taking the stance that Kevin and I have felt all along would be taken, which is if they can pursue you at foreclosure, they're going to pursue you at short sale. If they can't pursue you at foreclosure, they're not going to want to pursue you in a short sale. So I think the message will become stronger. This is my personal opinion. Please hear that. But I think the message will be stronger from other banks going forward that, you know what, we're not going to go and penalize people who worked with us on a short sale. We're going to reward them, if you will, or we're not going to treat them any differently than we would if they went to foreclosure. It's not right, in my opinion, for banks and investors and MI companies to go after the homeowner who tried to work with them and do a short sale versus letting the home go to foreclosure.
Can you imagine the uproar if they did, though?
Yeah, so we're not going to say it couldn't happen or something couldn't go to court and etc. But I'm saying that I don't think it will happen, and there will be a huge uproar if it does. And I think you'll find the government and in our legal system that's in support of homeowners, because after all, we're about helping the homeowner. We're here to help agents close short sales, but we're more about helping the homeowner, and that's why we do this, so you can help out your clients and homeowners as well. So anyway, enjoyed having you on the show,
Thank you
Brian.
very
Thanks so
much.
much for
Appreciate
being
it.
here. And if you haven't watched the video that we aired yesterday on Aquin with Mr. Ferris, highly encourage you to do that and spread that one around. And let's close it up. Are you good with the clap?
I've got it down now.
Ready, Brian?
I've got it down.
1, 2, 3.
Short sale power hour.
Short sale power hour. Good job, Matt Vernon.